Senator Jim Maloney. He was in Hoboken waiting to get into the tunnel when this happened.
Lee, and the scene here is just one right out of one of the movies you would see in Hollywood. People walking around with cell phones in tears, holding their heads, looking up at what's left of the World Trade Center, just shaking their heads in disbelief. The entire side of New Jersey now is totally affected by this and has been for quite some time. The tunnels are shut down. People are milling around, but not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go. It's a scene just of utter chaos, and just wondering what happened to those folks in the Trade Center just makes it all the worse. Lee.
All right, 1010 Wins newsman Jim Maloney, who was watching the South Tower of the World Trade Center when it went down, and he is stuck at the Lincoln Tunnel. All of the tunnels, both leading from New Jersey into New York City, have been shut down, as has the George Washington Bridge. All air traffic in the United States has been suspended until at least 5 o'clock in the wake of this. Let's get brought up to date on what has transpired in about the last hour and 15 minutes in this country, in this world. Here's 1010 Wins newsman James Faraday. James.
Okay, Lee, and to recap, two planes, of course, crashed into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan this morning. The aircraft, first one, crashed into the upper floors of one of the towers. That is the one with the TV and radio antenna on top. Witnesses reported hearing a huge explosion and heavy black smoke could be seen pouring out of the building. Wreckage was also seen embedded in the upper floors of the skyscraper, and ever since has been raining down onto the streets of Lower Manhattan. Shortly afterward, a second plane hit the other tower. That is the tower with the observation deck on top. The Associated Press has learned the FBI is investigating reports that the two crashes are the result of foul play. Of course, there's no word on casualties, but suffice to say, the loss of life presumably profound. Given the magnitude of this disaster, the South Tower of the World Trade Center just minutes ago collapsed to the ground. Only one tower is standing at this point. President Bush, speaking in Florida, was quick to react to this tragedy.
I have spoken to the Vice President, to the Governor of New York, to the Director of the FBI, and have ordered that the full resources of the federal government go to help the victims and their families, and to conduct a full-scale investigation to hunt down and to find those folks who committed this act.
This is not only a New York story. In Washington, word that the Pentagon has been struck. A plane crashed into the Pentagon this morning. CNN's Chris Plant is in the nation's capital.
And speaking to people here at the Pentagon as they're being evacuated from the building, I am told by several people that there was, in fact, an explosion. I was told by one witness, an Air Force senior enlisted man, that he was outside when it occurred. He said that he saw a helicopter circle the building. He said that it appeared to be a U.S. military helicopter and that it disappeared behind the building where the helicopter landing zone is, and that he then saw a fireball go into the sky.
That fireball was apparently from a plane. An Associated Press reporter on the scene saw the tail end of a large airliner launch into the Pentagon. Of course, the Pentagon has been evacuated along with the West Wing of the White House, the Capitol, all major branches of the United States government evacuated this morning. In Chicago, the Sears Tower has been evacuated as a precautionary measure. No threat has been made against Chicago's tallest building at this point. New York Stock Exchange has been shut down. The State Department has been evacuated. The Associated Press has learned the White House has been evacuated after the Secret Service received a credible threat of a terrorist act against the mansion. The State Department, as we mentioned, also evacuated the House and has the very latest.
The roads around the White House, the streets around the White House were blocked seconds ago. Members of the Uniform Division of the Secret Service ran out to intersections and started diverting traffic. There are emergency vehicles on almost every block around the White House. The road south of the White House has also been blocked. And as you know, the White House is being evacuated. Federal employees are standing on the street corners in and around the White House, having left the building for fear of another attack.
President Bush is now flying to Washington from Florida, where he's scheduled an educational event. The president's plane, Air Force nationwide. 1010 Wins continuous coverage moves on now with 1010 Wins anchor Judy DeAngelis.
As you said, it is an absolute World Trade Center when suddenly there was a large rumbling and the entire tower fell and collapsed to the ground. People came running north because of the smoke. It was billowing up Broadway. There's a big black cloud of smoke. You can't even see down Broadway from the vantage point of City Hall. I've now looked inside a building, but all the buildings...
This video footage was filmed by Richard A. Siegel. Rick Siegel was a child prodigy who was recruited by numerous Fortune 500 companies for his problem-solving and computer skills in the years leading up to 2001. He was a pioneer in the field of Internet television webcasting and had aired over 5,000 hours of original programming through his own company Online TV as of September 11, 2001. He was a frequent visitor on business to both the North and South Towers and held security passes at the time of the tragedy.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rick Siegel. This is about where I was on the day that the 9/11 tragedy occurred when the two towers were hit. I was in the shower. I was in the bed when I heard the first one, and I got the report and ran into the shower, got showered, and came down on my Zappy scooter with all my stuff and zoomed in here, set up my cameras on tripods so that I could watch with my binoculars, and started filming the Twin Towers as they were burning. Yeah. At least the building was in the frame, and the whole building, so I could get to smoke the building and what was happening. I was hoping you could see the plane out of it, but there was no plane to see out of that. And it was just a hole and black smoke. You just see it look like a cigar standing up on end with burning tip and black smoke. Which again, why black smoke? It's ready to go out. And then, yeah, it went on, and the building was just it was just burning away, and it wasn't too exciting until all of a sudden it's disappearing, and there was no real sign. There was no sign that anything was that this was going to go down. It was all the black smoke, and the black smoke is really indicative that the fire's out. So you're waiting for all the sludge to go away and the fire departments to get up there and do their jobs, because buildings don't fall down like that. It was like the biggest shock, and no one. You know, that's talking about a shock to see a building fall down. Thank God. I mean, a big one. It's like they're designed not to fall down. They're designed not to blow over. And like they said about this, it was designed for a 707 to run into it. And it took it. Two big jets flew into both the buildings, and they didn't fall. They're saying they fell because they were on fire. That doesn't make sense.